Hello everybody and welcome to Dynamic GT League's Race 3 of the Radical Series. We're here at Brands Hatch for what hopefully will be a fantastic race, and joining us on commentary is nobody. I'm on my own. All by myself. And all by themselves is Steve F1 at the top of the standings. Got a 9-point lead heading into Brands Hatch, his favourite track. Let's see how everybody's going to do up against him. SGP only 1 point ahead of Demon R after getting that 3-point penalty last week. Then we've got SRI in 4th. Nelly and Critical tied 5th. Artpal 7th. Jason in 8th. And didn't have time to get through to everybody else. Looking a little bit gloomy here at Brands Hatch as we get ready to take a walk down the grid. Although it shouldn't rain here today. No surprises. Steve F1 on pole position here at Brands Hatch. Something the drivers are going to have to be aware of is as they get away from the line, because of the camber on the road, it likes to make cars go sideways. As SGP in his quick fit liveried car in 2nd place, Demon R in 3rd, SRI in 4th place. He managed to get 4th, but he can't do commentary. Arpal in 5th. And then we've got Jason in 6th place. Jason, who suffered with lag before last week's race. We'll see a little bit of that today, as well as Critical places behind him. Then we've got Nelly with a fantastically detailed livery. Jimmy with a few Betty Boops on his car. And then we've got Rich Blues and a Dark Shadow. No, it's Hay, actually. It's not a Dark Shadow. He hasn't had time to do a livery, so I think we'll let him off with that one. Okay then, here we go for Brands Hatch. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and away Steve goes. He'll probably win now as well. Or SGP moving across the road to try and cover him off. And interestingly, nobody getting sideways off the line. Steve SGP having a look up the inside. Demon R having a look up the inside as well. Also, Artpal making a move on Artpal's defending from Jason, as SGP can't get past Steve F1. Demon R ever so close to the back of him now. Oh, SGP with a big wobble on the curb, and now he's on the grass. Now he's under pressure. Now he's got dirty tyres. Demon R goes a little bit wide as well, and that's freed up Steve F1 up at the front. SGP holding on now to 3rd place as SRI coming under pressure from Jason into Surtees. Critical looking at trying to do a little bit of a switchback. Now these cars do benefit from downforce and slipstream, although on this track the cars may be a little bit too close and perhaps the straight's not long enough to get a massive benefit from the slipstream. Quick mention about the boost. Obviously we have boost available in the DGT League. If I get a chance I'll get on to why we have that, but the way the boost works is half the grid will get it, half the grid won't. So in this race I believe it'll be 5th place will be the last car that can get boost. However, as Critical is closing in on the back of Jason, Critical is in 6th place, but he won't get boost because he's too close to Jason. Artpal ever so close to Critical, making the move actually as Critical goes a little bit wide. Nelly closing in as well. Now there's the gap to Jason. If it gets over a second, then the car behind will get boost, and so will everybody else. 4 wide to go. No, 2 wide. I'm glad they didn't try 4 wide into Paddock Hill Bend. It never works. It's Nelly out wide, out spinning, and takes Hay with him. I think Hay probably wishes he was a shadow at that point and couldn't get collected. Oh, Rich Blues doing what SGP did. Will he be able to get it slowed down now into Graham Hill Bend? Yes, he does, just about, but still wobbling. The tyres on these cars are road tyres, so don't take a lot to get them heated up, but it takes a lot to keep the heat in them as Rich Blues goes sideways again. It also means that if you get them dirty, it takes a little while to clean them up. It does mean though, if it rains, that you don't have to change tyres, because also we don't have Interzor wets available to the drivers. Okay, Critical closing in on the back of Artpal here is on the pack cam. Steve F1 flying through Dingle Dell up to the corner that I never remember the name of. I really probably should get the track maps out again. It's been a while. Just a reminder as well, in the Radical Series, the drivers cannot pit too soon. There's a pit window which opens once you have started lap 4, so the drivers can't pit until the end of lap 4. Demon R looks like he's kind of holding pace with Steve F1 at the moment on the pack cam. That gap not really getting much bigger. Rich Blues though looking at making a move on Critical. Critical has the slipstream, so Rich Blues tucks back in before Paddock Hill. Critical perhaps having a look at our pal through Paddock Hill, can't quite get it done. It's interesting though, if you have a look up the inside or go for the inside into Paddock Hill Bend, it can massively compromise your exit speed, but if you can get up alongside, it will also compromise the speed on the exit of the car you're battling with. Okay, Art Pal missing the apex there a little bit of Graham Hill Bend. It looks such a simple corner, but really isn't. You can lose a lot of time there. Same here through Surtees. I mean, Brands Hatch is one of those tracks where, as Rich Blues now trying to have another look at Critical, it's one of those tracks where all the corners look fairly simple, but there is a key to being quick around this track. Just ask Steve F1 as Rich Blues taking a nice, I was going to say taking a nice bit of curb, but he's had a big tank slapper, spun around. Can Nelly avoid him? Yes, you can just tell there Rich Blues didn't have any grip as he was trying to get out of the way and keep going. Critical's received a penalty. That would probably be for going a little... No, it's Haysery. Sorry, with the penalty. A couple of places it's easy to pick up penalties here. You can get it Graham Hill Bend if you take 2 with JPEX, Surtees if you run wide, and then the corner I keep forgetting the name of with the blind hill. So Jason, I mentioned earlier on we may see a little bit of lag on Jason today. I can confirm the team have told me their lag will be activated a little later on as he's gone a bit wide. Oh, not a lot Critical could do there to avoid him. That's a big hit on Jason. Oh, he's managed to avoid Rich Blues. As Demon Art still is losing a bit of ground to Steve F1. Critical after smashing Jason there, managing to keep going. SRI is actually starting to get caught a little bit now by Art Pal, I believe. Maybe SRI's had a bit of a tricky lap somewhere. Oh, Art Pal's wide. Critical may have a run, but he's kind of pulled out of the slipstream early. He'd have perhaps been better off just tucking in behind as Nelly trying to recover behind Hay. Actually, Nelly trying to have a look up the inside of Hay, and Hay having none of it. Yeah, so I mean this track is, and Nelly's still there actually, trying to get through into the second right-hander on the backside of the circuit. Has he got through? Yes, he has, and Hay has dropped another position. But this corner here, this is definitely a critical corner of the track. Now in this car, you can dip a wheel on the exit and keep it going in the right direction, but you do have to be a little cautious. In most cars, especially in cars with slicks on, you dip a wheel on the exit there, you'll spin around, but Art Pal's just gone a little bit deep, and that's going to cost him at least 2 places. Yep, Nelly going past, and then Rich Blues looking at making the move as well. Art Pal's going to have to be careful here. He may get dirty tyres as Rich Blues has made the move. Jimmy making the move. Jimmy gives Rich a little nudge. Art Pal was cautious on the tyres, which makes sense. Now he just needs to get it slowed down here and see if he can perhaps do a little bit of a switch back, or go all the way around the outside of Jimmy and have the inside line for Graham Hill Bend. A bit difficult to get the power down, as Rich saw. Well, Art Pal is making the move. Has he gone deep though? No, he hasn't. Oh, he got a little wiggle on though. Taking that tighter line, that gives Jimmy an exit that he prefers. We won't talk about the exits that Jimmy prefers though. That's a little bit too much information. But that battle now has also included Hay, who's on the back of Jimmy. Rich now on the back of Nelly. See if he can make a move. He may have a look. I mean, you can go for a move here, but it isn't really much of a braking zone. So if you're not already alongside, you're not really going to be chucking it up along the inside. You can have a look up the inside here like Art Pal has. He's got up alongside before the corner. It's a nice move. Now cover the inside, defend it so that the car you've overtaken can't look up the inside and then get it slowed down for the blind right-hander. Or Nelly went a little bit deep. Arpal having a look up the inside, but we've jumped away from that for the moment. Looking at the tyres, Demon Art into the pits. Got plenty of tyres left, but pitting at the end of lap 5. So let's see, I mean 26 lap race, so there's 21 laps to go. Critical's got quite a lot of life left on his tyres. And I was told by some of the drivers in practice that 7 laps, you can get 7.5 laps. Oh, Demon R's out of the pits right in front of Critical. Got sideways on the curb. So can he get his brakes cooled down and his tyres heated up to get around the corner, running a bit deep. Critical having a bit of a look, but can't quite get a move done. Now for Demon R though, that's a pit stop looking for an undercut. However, he's not in a boost position, so the pit lane lost time, not a lot here. But with the fresher tyres, may be able to pull away from Critical. Critical is going to come under pressure, I believe, from Rich Blues, and Hay as they close up with the boost. So it'll be interesting to see if Steve F1 does react to Demon R's pit stop. Rich Blues having a look up the inside, can't get it done. I believe that's Hawthorns. The corner names are slowly coming back to me, at least a race or something like that. Rich Blues dipping a wheel on the curb, got all, that's alright. Hay went wide. Rich Blues makes the move. Now can he get it slowed down? Hay having a look back up the inside. That's a tough one, especially if you're on the outside. Oh, it's Nelly. No, it's Jimmy, sorry. He's gone off all on his own. And that allows Jason through. Jimmy may have a bit of a run on Rich here, but they're both a little bit sideways. Okay, Demon R's caught up to the back of SRI. SRI pits, and Demon R's back in the... Why would he be back in the pits? Hey, in the pits as well. 7, if you could do 7 laps still, Jason's activated his lag. He's hopping along. He's not from Australia, he is Swedish. G'day mate, hopping along in my Swedish kangaroo. And every time I say kangaroo now, all I can think, what do you call a Geordie stuck in a gravel trap? Kangaroo. Okay, so... Right, so Demon R's taken fuel and a fresh set of tyres and battling with SRI on the exit of Paddock Hill Bend up towards Druids around the outside. He's going to try and go. There's not a lot of grip out there, but he's got the move done, has he? Yes, he has. Tuck's in front now for SRI. It might not be a bad idea to follow Demon R. I'm not entirely sure why Demon R is pitted there. Jason making the move on Critical now. This for 3rd place. Can Critical hang it out on the inside? I mean, one of the things I would say, up this back straight, if somebody is sort of half passing you up the straight, it's worth like dipping in behind them and just benefit from the slipstream, go quicker through the corners and see if you can attack back later on. Okay, Demon R is now in a boost position. I'll see if I can get some information about what happened there. So, Demon R, what the bloody hell happened there? Well, to be honest, incorrect mathematics. Oh, SRI, wow! What happened? Oh, that's alright. Oh, hold on a moment. Demon R's pulling off to the... He's going slow. He can't be waiting for anybody. Oh, it's hazard to run. That, which means he's on pause. You know what? I'm being told he has no throttle. Okay, so what looked like SRI getting a super boost and ramming Demon R was actually Demon R no throttle and the car going nowhere. Could that be him out of the race? Okay, we'll keep an eye on that, sort of. I'll tell you what, Ray, you keep an eye on that one for us. Welcome to the G-Spot. Okay, Jimmy's got a little bit deep through Graham Hill Bend. SGP's got a bit of a run for SGP to be behind Jimmy. I'm guessing SGP has been into the pits. Yes, he has. He's got fresh tyres on. Jimmy's aren't too bad, actually. He's done quite a few laps on them. He's looked after them quite nicely. SRI behind Rich Blues and Jimmy with SGP just ahead of them. So, yeah, I'm being told, or I have been told, that with Demon R, it's incorrect mathematics. Knowing he could do 7 laps on the tyres, thought he should have pitted at the end of lap 6 to do 7 lap stints. But he could have actually done it when pitting at lap 5. So it was having pitted, not in boost, and thought, okay, let's fix that quickly and pit again the next lap to get the stints as Rich Blues is sideways. That's all right, up the inside now. Critical going through as well, heading towards the final corner. Artpal's got a great run on Rich Blues here. He's on the pack cam, up the inside he goes. He's going to get a move on Jimmy as well, as long as he doesn't run wide, which he hasn't. That's a goal. Rich Blues, big tank slapper into the side of Jimmy. And I just heard a really weird noise. I was like, what was that, aliens? Sorry, no, it's my dishwasher. If you can't hear it, don't worry about it, but I can hear it. Oh, SRI! I can hear his tyres squealing then. Squealing like a haggish. A haggish. That's like a hag, but only ish. Okay, can you tell it's not the same without Ray here? I've got jokes to tell him as well, and he's just not here. Okay, Rich Blues got a bit of a run on the back of Artpal after Graham Hill bend. Artpal having a look up the inside of Surtees. Oh, Rich give a little bit of a tap there. Rich is slowing down. Oh, he was mid-corner. Critical's off. Yeah, Rich has slowed down to let Artpal through. A lot going on in that corner there with Artpal sporting his, excuse me, Damon Hill or Graham Hill retro style helmet, excuse me. Okay, what have we got here then? Steve F1 leading the way, and on the track map he is heading up towards the final corner. Has he pitted yet? I believe he I believe he has. Oh, Artpal's wide, too fast into the corner, or steered in too late, and all those positions he had gained go out the window on the pack cam. We can see it there as well. Demon R has closed up to the back of Jimmy. So Demon R back with his throttle pedal as Jason into the pit. So Demon R is not out of the race, but I think he's definitely out of the fight for the top 3 places. Okay, so what we got here, Hay with Artpal right behind him. Rich Blues on the outside of him. He's gone a little bit wide. Hay having a bit of a wiggle, trying to avoid him. Artpal with nowhere to go. And here comes Demon R actually up the inside of Artpal and up alongside Rich Blues. Oh no, he's not. He's either backed out of it or didn't have the pace. He's now got nowhere to go. I think if his throttle pedal is working, it's been given an extra aggressive mode. But yeah, definitely up to speed now. SGP sitting in 3rd place. Is he up? Yeah, he's closing up on Nelly's on the pack cam. Demon R makes the move past Artpal. Artpal tucks into that slipstream. SGP closing in on Nelly. I don't know if Nelly has pitted yet. Let's see, I mean, we're 10 laps into the race. Unless you can get another 3 laps out of the tyres, Nelly, you might as well pit. Maybe he's trying to sort of see how far he can go as SGP makes the move up the inside. Nice. Oh, Nelly tried angling around the outside. SGP gave a little nudge. Not sure he needed to back out of that one, but he has done. Let's see how they get on now. So on the pack camp, Demon R now behind Jason. SGP having another look up the inside. So if Nelly wants the pits, he's going to have to back out and tuck inside. He doesn't want the pits, so maybe he has already pitted. Let's see. We'll see if we get a look at his tyres at any point. However, SRI has got Jason right up his chufter. Jason actually having a look up the inside into Paddock Hill Bend. It's kind of... Oh, Jason got a little bit wobbly. He had a look up the inside of 1. He's having a look up the inside of 2. Can't quite get it done, but he may be able to slow down SRI. Yeah, SRI's gone way around the outside. Oh, Jason could do with giving a little bit of room there. Demon R and Critical now right on the rear of him. Demon R, oh, SRI got a big sideways moment there. Critical going to take the position as well. SRI's tyres aren't looking too bad, but maybe they've just got a little bit too hot. Also, if you get a bit offline here, it's very easy to end up running wide. As I mentioned earlier, for example, the corner coming up, not a big braking zone. It's literally only a dab, if that. So you need to already be up alongside, like SRI kind of is here to have any chances. Jimmy makes the move on Artpal. They're side by side, nearly no single file they go. As on the pack cam, Demon R now right up behind Jason. Critical goes a little bit wide, and that's the thing with Brands Hatch. If you break a touch late around here, you will easily go straight on. As Hey trying to make the move on Critical. Artpal dipped wheel, and around he goes. I mean, I said earlier that if that happens, you can get away with it. I think on Arpal's situation, because it was just the one rear wheel, not both left wheels, I think that might be what spun him around. But yeah, literally every corner around this track, you brake a touch late, you will run wide. This is definitely a lift and brake early to get the entry correct. If you get the entry correct, you can have speed on the exit. If you go in too hot on the entries, you will not have speed on the exit. And yeah, it's so key around this particular track. Okay, Nelly. Yeah, he must have pitted. There's no way he's done 11 and a half laps on those tyres, although it might look like it. He's took a SRI having a spin as well. Oh, rolling, just rolling and letting Nelly through. To be fair, that's well done from SRI, kept himself out of danger. Right, what have we got going on up at the front? Well, Steve F1 on the pack cam is all on his own. He's not as alone as I am, because at least he is racing with other people and I'm just talking to myself. Although technically I'm talking to all of you out there that may be listening. If you're not listening, then obviously I'm not talking to you. Oh, is that Nelly? No, yes it is, it's Nelly. So after his big spin earlier in the lap, he's had another one now. He may be looking at getting into the pits. If you... Oh, Rich Blues! What a save! Well, should tell the missus he's a keeper, because he saved that one. In my head I was like, yeah, don't say it. Don't say it. I couldn't help it. Okay, Arpal into the pits. Yeah, Steve F1 has a large lead, and if you thought I was going to say something else, then you are filthy minded, and I can't believe you would think that way. Let's see what else we got. Critical here, as yeah, Demon R in the pits as well. So Critical in 4th place, got plenty of tyres left. Looking at the laps left though, I think he's still going to have 2 stops to do. And here's Steve F1. I mean, looking at his lap times, yep, mid 35s, fairly consistent. 36 on the last lap. And the interesting thing, I mean, Steve F1, he's got literally the whole back straight here, lead over SGP. The difficulty for Steve F1 now is to not lose concentration. If you in Steve's situation, if you start thinking, oh, what am I going to have for dinner, or what am I up to tomorrow, you will easily find yourself off the racetrack. So it's so crucial at this point to keep telling yourself, right, concentrate, do the things you do brake at this point, lift at this point, turn at this point, accelerate this. You have to be focused. So does SRI with Rich Blues alongside him. Demon R back up behind SRI. I was going to say that's because Demon R's done really well, but actually SRI's big spin is probably what has brought Demon R back up to him rather than anything else. Rich Blues unable to hold on to the position there. Now I think SRI and Demon R pitted at the same point. So they may be battling it out towards the end of the races. Hey, tucking up the inside, looks like he's going for the pit lane, and so is SRI. Jason in the pits as well, so is Rich. So SRI didn't pit at the same time as Demon R. Jason exiting the pit ahead, and we can see there is that little bit of lag coming in once again. Okay, so Demon R having pitted there, 5th place. Okay, got another pit stop to do. Arpal pitted previous... No, Arpal pitted at the same time as Demon R. That's right, I knew someone had pitted at the same time. So it is Arpal. So Arpal on the same strategy at the moment then as Demon R, without all the errors earlier on, as SRI trying to make the move around the outside of Nelly. Thinks better of it, tucks up the inside, hasn't got the move here. Has a look up the inside, thinks better of it through Graham Hill Bend. You can get a good exit. Just put the pressure on into Graham Hill Bend. Maybe dummy and move up the inside. Get your brake in nice and early. Get it tucked in nice and early. He's gone a bit wide, but he's close enough that he'll get the slipstream. He did dip a wheel out wide, but he's got away with it. It's Steve F1 heading into the pits. Plenty of tyre life left for him with 12 laps to go. So yeah, Steve F1 will have another pit stop to do, but he's got a comfortable lead. I mean, let's see, he's in the pits at the moment. See if SGP, is he going to duck into the pits? Yes, he is, which means Steve F1 will come back out in the lead of the race. Critical, got a bit of tyres left, but he is, as I said, still going to have... yeah, okay, I thought he'd have another 2 stops to do, and he's done one now. So Steve F1, as I mentioned, comes out, back into the lead, is round turn 1. Jason's crossing the start-finish line into turn 1 now. So the gap to Steve F1 has come down quite a bit, with Steve F1 with 1 pit stop to do. I think Jason maybe 1, Demon R 1, Artpal 1, and SGP 1 more pit stop to do. I'm not sure about Jimmy or Nelly. Nelly should have 1, and SRI should have 1 as well. SRI all over the back of Nelly once again. Okay, so Demon R then closing in. You know what? Demon R, having closed in on Jason here, somehow has got himself back into the battle for 2nd place now, after the issues earlier on, and that is one of the big benefits of the boost. I mean, I did say I'd talk a bit later about why DGT League has boost. There's a couple of reasons really. One is we don't try to take things too seriously. Just listen to the commentary and you'll notice that, as SGP closing in on Artpal, bringing Jimmy, Nelly and SRI with him. But also we have very differing levels of ability and time available to practice. So with the boost working for the bottom 6, it means that those drivers that don't get a chance to practice can still be in the race. But also, if you happen to be the victim of a crash, you're still in the race, even if it happens on lap 1. Whereas without the boost, if you're a victim of a crash on lap 1, you could potentially be out of the race completely, as SRI defending from Jimmy, trying to make a move on at Nelly, having a look up the inside. Is he going to go for it? It's Paddock Hill bend? No. I think SRI knows he can't go aggressive on the brakes here. You can't even go aggressive on the brakes up into Druids, but he's close. He's up alongside. He's not able to really squeeze it up the inside. Oh, he is just. Nelly gives him the room, but Nelly's got the inside line for the next corner. As SGP hounding Artpal. SGP going for the switchback. Artpal ran a little bit wide, but managed to get away with it. SRI still not past Nelly. They're still side by side, as Artpal holding around the outside of SGP. That could give him the better exit, but yes, it has. But right behind them, Nelly and SRI still going at it side by side. Nowhere for Jimmy to go. This is great stuff. Artpal holding that inside line. Tricky bit here is on the inside line, you have to slow down a little bit more to stay on the track. That's allowed SGP to really close in, and Nelly to close in, because if you're on the outside, you kind of have to hope that the car on the inside doesn't run wide. Artpal defending the inside now. SGP defending the inside now. Nelly having a look around the outside. That's going to go wide. Artpal's off as well. Oh, and it's the big spin from Artpal. Nearly kills SRI. SGP survives. SRI survives. Jimmy says thank you very much. Okay, Demon R now on the back of Jason. And we mentioned earlier, Jason lag kicking in a bit. Let's see if it's happening here. Only a little bit there at the moment, from what we can see on this particular view. Demon R not looking like he's really attacking. However, if you've got a car lagging about in front of you, it is very difficult to know where they are for certain. I mean, lagging backwards and forwards, I think sometimes it's easier to cope with in a way, because you can go, okay, if they're lagging backwards and forwards, I can move to the side. If they're lagging a little bit side to side, you can never really know exactly where they are. Demon R's got a good run out of Surtees. He's got the slipstream, but Jason's car jumping about a little bit. It's kind of going a little bit sideways and a little bit and forward and backwards. Yeah, okay, so yeah, that's the kind of worst case scenario, forwards and backwards and a little bit sideways. Yeah, that make it very difficult to try and overtake. On the pack count, we've got Jimmy right up the arse end of Nelly, as SRI, I think, is pulling away from Nelly. He is a little bit. Demon R dipping a wheel behind, yeah, Jason's car moving sideways there. I mean, it looks there like Jason sort of missed the apex, but you just can't be certain in that scenario. Let's see. fear. I mean, it does seem to be happening. Oh yeah, they're more in the corners than anywhere else. Oh, okay, very interesting pit stop there, Jason. Okay, well, at least for demonR, that now frees him up. Steve F1 will be able to see exactly what the gap is between himself and demonR. I don't know how demonR's ended up in this position, because SGP has not been involved in anything, and demonR's up the road. And SGP has got SRI up his rear end, Nelly being attacked by Artbound. Hay being attacked by Jimmy. They're side by side. Critical trying to get through there as well. Nelly trying to hold the inside towards Graham Hill Bend, and manages to do it. See Jimmy fighting with Critical still. Side by side they go. I mean, yeah, Surtees is it's such a difficult corner. This is so easy to go too deep on the brakes and lose a ton of lap time. And I think that's one of the things a lot of people don't realise on racetracks at times. It's not about how fast you can go. It's about how much time you don't lose. And I think sometimes, I think if people approach some racetracks with that mindset, it will help massively. So especially Brands, this is one of those circuits. Approach it with a mindset of, okay, let's not lose. Well, let's lose as little amount of time in the corner as possible. Nelly's gone deep and sideways into Arpal. Arpal sideways into Critical. Wow, that's a big one. Jimmy going a little bit off. And the brake marker board coming flying in for a bit of the action as well. And talking about trying to lose as little amount of time as possible. Clearly we can see there that Nelly lost a massive amount of time there, and unfortunately took Artbound with him. But that's just kind of emphasises what I was on about. You go a little bit too deep, or go into a corner a little bit too fast, trying to go that little bit quicker, and instead of going quicker, you go many seconds slower. Critical looking at doing a switch back here on Hay. I can't quite get it done. No, and gets sideways. Jason now closing in, and let's see if we get any. Yeah, see, Jason's missing the apex by a mile there, which is not what I would expect from Jason. So either his car is not in that position, or perhaps didn't have the grip after recently pitting. Okay, let's see what we've got. Up the back straight then, Nelly closing in on Jason, Jimmy closing in on Nelly, Critical on Hay. Hay goes defensive, Nelly goes attacking, side by side. Nelly Hay defending, and managed to get it slowed down, hold on to the position as Jason fended off Nelly. But it will be difficult for Nelly to know exactly where Jason is. Now I don't know if Jason is seeing cars jump about or not. But obviously, that was what I was on about, where you can dip wheels wide here and get away with it, but it's if it's both wheels. demonR into the pits with 7 laps to go. Maybe trying to get a bit of an undercut here on Steve F1. SGP into the pits as well. Hay carries on, Critical carries on, Jason carries on, Nelly into the pit lane. Okay. Where will demonR come out of the pits? He's already out and he's round turn 1, I believe. Yeah, he's already up at Druids. Okay, so if he's going to get an undercut on Steve F1, it's literally going to be fresh tyre and old tyre. Jason having a little look at Critical. I think Critical may have been looking at where Jason was. Gave Hay a bit of a punting in the corner. Critical manages to stay back and let Hay continue on. Jason's still there up alongside him. Didn't see what happened there. Nelly, no, not Nelly. I keep saying Nelly. I don't mean Nelly. Jimmy getting involved there as well. Didn't see what happened though, as SGP now has a bit of a run on Critical. Now I know usually I struggle with my words a little bit. I think it's even worse today. I blame that on having 2 teeth out a couple of days ago. It's created some gaps in my teeth, and it makes me go, yeah, it's a bit weird. SGP trying to make the move on Critical. Got up alongside on the straight. It was up alongside through the corner. Critical up the rear end of Jason. Excuse me, manages to stay ahead of SGP as Steve F1 does pit the following lap So it'll be interesting to see if Demon R is going to gain anything on him. It's not going to be a lot because there's no boost. Critical trying to go around the outside of Jason here. Can't quite get it done. SGP having a look at Jason, but Hay is there as well. Okay, SRI into the pits for his final pit stop. Hay follows him in, and Artpal and Jimmy. I nearly said Nelly. Nelly's actually going to come down the start-finish straight soon and pass them. Okay, Steve F1 does retain the lead of the race on the track map. Steve F1 is about to head into the left-hander onto the back straight. Demon R is going through Graham Hill Bend, so that gap has come down. Or will it come down enough for Demon R to challenge Steve F1 for the race here, for the win? Jason with SGP right behind us, so it's now SGP's turn to see how bad Jason's critical is, how bad Jason's lag is, and yeah, it is moving about a little bit. It is so difficult to overtake a car that is moving around like this. Now, I do believe Jason will have no idea that his car is doing this at this point, and we could do with finding out if anything has changed for Jason, because we didn't see lag like this 2 weeks ago. It's only in the last 2 races that it's happened, and for anyone that may wonder, well, maybe it's a change because of the change of day, maybe his connection is different. But he's joined us on SRI, having a look here. Can't get the move done. Yeah, Jason joined us many times for practice on Mondays and didn't have that many issues with lag. Certainly not anywhere near as bad as we're having today, or as bad as we had last week. Last week was worse, by the way, when we stopped the race as SRI making the move around the outside of Critical as Critical heads into the pits. Yeah, Critical in the pits. SRI got a bit of a run here on Nelly. SGP still behind Jason. I would say SGP is probably sitting here wondering though, how the bloody hell has Demon R ended up way up the road. I genuinely think a big part of it is down to the boost. After the throttle issue, being in the boost position must have just gained so much time for Demon R that it's put him right back in the fight here, and with when other cars pitted. So yeah, because I'm thinking about it, I think Steve F1 and SGP both made a pit stop around about the time Demon R would have had his throttle issues, so they would have been at the front. Demon R would have had boost, then they would have pitted. Demon R still would have had boost because they would have come out ahead with no boost. So I think that's kind of where the gap has really come down. SGP still here behind Jason. Let's see if Nelly can close that gap. As on the pack cam, we've got Artpal making a move on Hay, going through Dingle Dell up the hill to the blind corner. Artpal's missed the apex, he's wide. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I can fully understand. I've seen quite a few drivers going a little bit deep in that corner. I can fully understand it. As I mentioned earlier, it's a critical corner. It's a crucial corner. You can gain, well, you can lose so much time there. Brands Hatch is one that you have to learn the rhythm of the track, and sometimes it can take years. SRI having a look at Nelly here, perhaps just trying to get him a little bit out of shape as Artpal in the background trying to make a move on Hay. He has made the move on Hay. He'll have to defend up into the hairpin. Nelly defends SRI, so SRI still behind Nelly. SGP has had no chance to attack Jason here. He's getting ever so close, a little bit sideways. That'll compromise him a bit. He's having a look up the inside into Surtees. Jason spots him, gives him the space, but SGP dipped a wheel on that inside curb. That gets your car out of shape. He now hasn't really got the run, and I don't think he's really benefiting from the slipstream, but also that what's the word? That cautiousness of where Jason's car actually is. It makes you lift a bit earlier, brake a bit earlier. You're cautious about where you're turning in. So yeah, I think SGP may have to try and get as close as he can somewhere on the track and just throw it up the inside somewhere, fairly of course, but really sort of make it obvious, I'm going for the move here, please give me the spaces. Hey, and Critical! Excuse me. Hay managed to save it. Critical didn't. SRI's got a great run on Nelly here and makes the move. I think Nelly may have got a bit out of shape as well, because you don't normally see a car pass like that down that back straight unless they've had a moment. So a massive benefit of speed for SRI. SGP here still looking at the back. Jason Hay now up alongside Art Pal for the billionth time today. Here we go, SGP. Oh, he had a look, couldn't get it done, but he's close. Jason goes defensive. SGP going to try and go all the way around the outside. That was, it was almost all the way around the outside of the track. Jason goes a little bit wide. And in the background, we've still got that battle on the pack cam. It is Hay and Art Pal. They have spent so much time together, and I don't think they've actually had a collision. I could be wrong. But yeah, great racing down there from what I remember seeing. Oh, Jason's car moving about again. SGP he's much closer on this occasion. He's got a much better run. Didn't get squirrely on the exit. I mean, Jason may be getting squirrely, and that may be when the lag is happening as well. So closing in. I don't think SGP's going to be able to have the move. Oh, no, he can't. Art Pal, Hay. Art Pal defending and trying to attack it. SGP's got to go for it. He's so close here. Oh, Jason, nice early turn in. Effectively says, no, you don't. SGP having a look up the inside, can't get it done. Nelly under a lot of pressure from Art Pal, who's under pressure from Hay, who's under pressure from Critical. Can they get through this corner on this occasion? No, they can't. Critical comes through and oh, Nelly's dead. I think Art Pal may be waiting for him. SGP's dropped back from the back of Jason, so I don't know whether there was a bit of contact front to rear or SGP got out of shape. Looking at the gap up at the front on the track map, looks like that gap has opened up a little bit now. And with Jason holding up SGP, these two have lost a lot. Oh no, Jason's fuel lights flashing, which SGP's gone for it up the inside into Druids. Lovely overtake, had to get it done. I'm wondering if Jason has just realised he might not have the fuel and perhaps pushed a bit too hard. Yeah, if your fuel light is flashing with 2 laps to go, it's not good, because it usually means you've got 1%, like 1% of fuel, or 1.3% of fuel, which is 1 lap's worth of fuel, or 1.5 laps worth of fuel. So Jason may be in a little bit of trouble there with his go-go juice. Yeah, look at he's losing time now. Also, actually, Jason pitted quite early for his last stint. That'll be a reason why he's struggling on fuel. He probably also struggling on his tyres. Yeah, he got sideways. SRI's got the run. SRI's turn to see how he gets on with Jason's critical lag. Jason's gone wide. I think his tyres are dying. SRI having a look up the inside. He's got enough room. He can have a go at this. Yeah, Jason's tyres must be struggling. He can't stay on the road. Oh, he's plummeting. SRI was a lovely move. Critical gives him a little nudge into the corner and giving him a little bit of a hurry up, boy. Okay, they've got to run. Nose to tail. I'm just trying to see if they're in the background. Hay, is it? Yeah, Hay's on the back of Jason now. Jason hasn't pitted. He's going to go for it, so he clearly thinks he's got the fuel. Critical on SRI. SRI defends that inside line. Can he get it slowed down and still carry the speed? Critical with a wider entry. He's going to get the speed. There is SRI. Oh dear. That was a big hit into the wall. Oh wow, Jason, what a move. I like the way you move. Okay, look at his tyres. Yeah, his tyres are... Yeah, they're struggling. We're on the last lap of the race, but his tyres are struggling. And I wonder if that's why his lag appears to be a lot worse. If his car's getting sideways and the lag is happening in corners, then as he's getting sideways in corners, the lag is worse. It's emphasised. Okay, Demon Art in second place, SGP third. Then we've got Critical. We saw him have a big spin a couple of laps ago before he pitted. He's got himself back up to fourth place now, helped with Jason plummeting and SRI spinning. It was so unfortunate for SRI. It's so easily done. That defending that inside line into two. Oh, Steve F1. He is in this race. We've not seen him for a while. Plenty of tyres, plenty of fuel. Finish line. Bish bash bosh, done. Race winner, Brands Hatch back. Demon Art is going to take second place, I believe. Yes, he's crossing the line now. Jason! Oh, he's gone for back to worse. There's Demon Art's finish. SGP up to third He will probably be thinking he should have at least had second, but he is going to get to the finish line on the pack cam. Art Pal's going around the outside of Jimmy, is he? Final corner, no he can't. SGP, get across the line third, Critical fourth, Hey fifth, Jimmy and Art Pal, sixth and seventh, yes, Rich Blues, 8th place, SRI with that big crash, 9th place. Massively unfortunate for him. I'll get on to that in a moment as well. Jason, yeah, his tyres. He's got a slither, but yeah, they're nasty at that point. And then we've got Nelly in 11th place. Just he's at full speed, so he hasn't ran out of fuel. And there we go. Now, one of the big downsides of doing commentary on your own is because you have to talk all the time, you don't really get time for a drink. One sip is what I had through that. Also, I would just like to mention as well. Is my oh sorry, my headphone just beat. Right. Doing commentary on my own, I have drank 0 alcohol. I have made 0 intentional jokes. I haven't waffled at the end of the race. So clearly all those things are affected by the Scotsman. He's a bad influence. In all fairness though, if Ray's had the flu that I know a few people have had recently, I hope he gets better soon. I know his voice is like gone full Barry White. I very nearly said Jimmy White, but he plays snooker. So yeah, full Barry White, and yeah, if it is the flu thing, it'll have absolutely knocked him to the floor, a little bit like that big spin did. And it's such an unfortunate crash there, because defended the inside lovely, got the car slowed down lovely to get it turned in and hold on to the position, but because he was on the tighter line, had to steer that a little bit more. And as that throttle went on, probably the same amount of throttle he would use if he was on the normal racing line, with that extra little bit of steering angle, and the rear end just couldn't cope with it. And it's so unfortunate, but it's one of those things we see it happen quite a lot, as even at Druids, for example. You defend the inside line, which you can get it slowed down, you can get it turned in, giving space to the car on the outside, but as you're on the exit of the corner, if you try and accelerate the same as you would as if you let the car excuse me, run out wide, because you've got more steering angle on, the car wants to spin around. And it's so easily done. We see it in many corners. So yeah, massively unfortunate for SRI, but Critical put him in that position. He made him go defensive into turn 1, and then Critical went out to the outside of the track before the braking point to give himself a wider entry into the corner, to give him more speed and put the pressure on SRI. And it's one of those where with overtakes, you don't always have to go for it. You can manufacture it by getting someone to defend, by getting them off the racing line, by making them have to take a tighter line around a corner, or by doing an SGP and leaving them not enough room at turn 1 at Monza. And if you haven't seen it, the G-Spot is out regarding the report from that race. Make sure you go and watch it. But yeah, what a cracking race we've had here today. Steve F1 flawless, Demon R disaster, SGP good race, very difficult in that battle with Jason. I think Jason's had a good race, but fortunately the lag has affected a few drivers. Critical's done well, Jimmy's done well, Hayes done well. No practice, done well. Great battles with Art Pal. Art Pal's done well, and unfortunately Art Pal, Hay, Nelly, all victims of going a little bit too fast into the blind right-hander. You know, I'm going to look up what that corner name is. As soon as I see it, I'm like, oh yeah. Up. Sheens, that's it, Sheen curve. Sheen being the motorbike rider. Okay, I'm just looking to make sure. Okay, yeah, Paddock Hill Bend is turn 1. Pilgrim's Rise is the run up to Druids, and Graham Hill Bend, the Cooper Straight, Surtees, and then the back straight and Pilgrim's Drop up to Hawthorne Bend, the Derek Minter Straight into Westfield Bend, Dingledell into Sheens, Stirlings, Clearways, and then Clark curve, and then onto the Brabham Straight. So Sheen's corner, it takes so many victims, and I know one of the things that I learned, and I apologise if this sounds a little bit preachy. I mentioned during commentating that it takes a while to learn the rhythm of Brands Hatch, but when you do, it goes from being a hateful track to a fantastic track. It's like a light switch on and off, the difference of it. And Sheen's is one of those corners that if you keep going off there, you will hate this track forever. Finding the way, or a way, to get through that corner every single time is the key. And one of the main things I would say about it is to use as little amount of brake as possible. This sounds counterintuitive. If you are approaching that corner and you are hard on the brakes and then trying to turn in, it'll never really work, because you're steering heading towards the braking zone, which means you're braking while steering, and then you're going to try and steer more. It's too much for a lot of cars to do. Whereas if you actually just lift off, do gentle braking, get off those brakes, and find your turn-in point where you can comfortably take two wheels over that inside curb every time, and don't be afraid of the curb, your car will be a lot more balanced. And don't turn in too soon. Find that turn-in point. I mean, by all means, go and watch Steve F1's live stream of how he goes through Sheen's, or watch my live stream of how I go through Sheen's, because I absolutely love that corner, mainly because, as I said earlier, it's not about how much time you can gain, it's about reducing how much time you lose. And when you can get through Sheen's pretty much every time without going off, it's time gained. So and that then just gives you a buzz. You're like, okay, I'm through it, and then you can get confidence. And then in faster cars you can get confidence, and when you can get through Sheen's with confidence, the next corner, Stirling's, you may find you start going off there, but that's because you're going through Sheen's faster and you're approaching the next corner at a faster speed than you used to. So now you have to work out, okay, how do I get through Stirling's? And then when you start getting that right and realise, oh, if I actually go into that corner a little bit slower, I can actually be on the throttle before the apex and power out the corner, rather than going into the corner, slowing down, get past the apex and then speeding up, and then wondering why you're coming under pressure into the final corner, and then perhaps doing a similar thing, going too deep into the final corner. So there's a lot of benefit to spending a little bit of time doing a bit of research on how drivers who love this track get around this track. Give it a check. Also, I mean, well, there's a couple of the corners to really look at around here. Paddock Hill Bend is, well, I mentioned at the end of the last commentary, for anyone that didn't listen, I said if you get to this point, here's a tip for the next race. At Brands Hatch, lift and coast before every braking zone. It will make your car considerably more stable, and you will go faster than if you are literally off throttle brake and trying to turn in. And that is the key to this track. You can go so much faster through and out of corners by doing that. And when you do that, the first corner, Paddock Hill Bend, becomes, instead of it being I keep running wide, I can't get on the throttle, it starts becoming, you know what, I can get on the power while I'm turning in. I can be on the power while I'm going round the corner. And if you can do that instead of slowing down around the corner or constantly having to get off the throttle because you're running wide, you're going to go a lot faster. Druids, it's a fairly simple corner. The Graham Hill Bend, I mean, it's the same thing. So, I love this track. and those little nuances. This is a track, if you push to go fast around here, you will not go fast. So the other one is Hawthorns at the end of the back straight. Such a fast corner, such a fast, brilliant corner. Now, I don't think we really saw anybody running wide at this race, which is absolutely brilliant. And I didn't get to see many people's throttle traces to see like how early they were or were not able to get on the power. But it is a corner that you can go through very, very fast. It's a corner you can go through side by side, but a bit like we saw with SRI, there's dangers to it. But it's all about get that car slowed down. Anyway, that's enough of the lecture. Sorry about that. So clearly I do like to waffle on myself, but I'm just trying to help people to enjoy Brands Hatch, because I do know it is a track that it's Marmite. You love it or hate it, but it can be loved. Okay, right, enough of the waffle. Let's take a look then what that result has done to the, well, confirm the race result, and then have a look at what that has done to the championship standings. Steve F1 victorious, 20 points for him. Demon R second place, 17 points. SGP in third, 15 points. Fourth place Critical, that's 2 fourth places in a row for him, 13 points. Hey, with a good result there, fifth place, scores 12. Jimmy in sixth gets 11 points, while Artpal in seventh scores 10. Rich Blue in 8th on 9, SRI in 9th on 8. Jason in 10th place on 7 points, and then we've got Nelly in 11th on 6. Let's look at what that's done to the standings. Steve F1 leading the way then, 3 wins out of 3, so maximum points, 60 for him. Demon R is second place now on 47 points, 1 ahead of SGP in third. Critical is finished fourth twice, and now he's in fourth place on 34 points, and he's 4 ahead of SRI, who's in fifth place, who's 1 point ahead of Artpal in sixth. We've then got a 2-point gap to Nelly in 7th place, and then a 7-point gap to Jason and Jimmy, tied 8th place on 20 points. Rich Blues is in 10th place on 19 points, and then we've got Hay in 11th on 12 points. Bob in 12th on 11, and then we've got Formula Gary and Twilight, who are both yet to score. Hopefully Twilight will be joining us in next week's race. As you can see, there's a couple of seats available, so if you're watching this and you're interested in getting involved in the Dynamic GT League, then check out the Facebook page and drop us a message, and we shall get back to you. You will need to get involved in some of the practice sessions so that we can get you up to speed with the way of the DGT, and yeah, see if we like you or not, I suppose is the blunt way of putting it. Right, I think that's it. Have we kept this video to less than an hour? No, we haven't. Nearly did, but not to be. Right, thanks for watching. You know what to do. Like, subscribe, hit that notifications bell, and we'll see you all again soon.